Stay tuned in this video to review the story of Walt Disney and learn how to stay motivated and overcome life's failures together. In 1966, a year after Walt Disney's death, 240 million people watched a Disney movie, and every week more than 100 million people watched a Disney TV show. Additionally, 80 million people read a Disney book, 80 million others bought Disney merchandise, and approximately 7 million people visited Disneyland. During his lifetime, Walt Disney pioneered the animation industry and revolutionized American entertainment. He introduced motion pictures to television and created the first modern multimedia company. To this day, Disney holds the record for the most Oscars won, with a total of 22. However, his greatest legacy lies in his impact on culture. No other person has shaped American popular culture more than Walt Disney. He created iconic characters that have shaped the childhoods of generations, including Mickey Mouse, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Pinocchio, Fantasia, Dumbo, Cinderella, and Bambi. But before achieving such success in creating legendary films like The Good Life Ever After, Disney had a far from ideal life. At the age of 9, he worked 7 days a week for his father's newspaper, delivering newspapers to people's homes. Unlike other children his age, Disney woke up at 3:30 a.m. every day to complete his deliveries before going to school. After school, he would go straight to work. His work was incredibly demanding, especially during the winter months. He often fell asleep and curled up in a newspaper bag for warmth. He would wake up with the sunrise and rush to finish his work. Adding to his hardships, Walt did not receive any money for himself because his father, Elias, took all the money Walt earned. Disney continued this exhausting and life-consuming routine for 6 years. In Neil Gabler's biography of Walt Disney, an interview is mentioned where Disney said, "I was always working and never had time to play." While other children enjoyed their free time playing sports and socializing, Disney's only pleasure was observing the toys on people's porches as he delivered newspapers. To make matters worse, Walt had a strained relationship with his father, Elias. Elias was a strict and cold man, devoid of fun, and took pride in imposing his authority on his children as the head of the household. Above all, Elias had a volatile temper, and as Walt grew older and Elias experienced successive failures in various businesses, Walt became the primary target of Elias' anger and physical abuse. Walt Disney's childhood was so traumatic that even after 40 years, he still had nightmares about failing to deliver newspapers to his customers and his father angrily waiting for his work report. Later in life, their relationship remained strained to the point where Walt refused to return early from a business trip to attend his father's funeral. Despite his challenging childhood, Walt Disney clung to his dream of building a cartoon and animation company. In early 1921, he established his first company, Laugh-O-Gram Studios, and secured a contract to produce 6 animated films. However, financial difficulties plagued his business, and Disney attempted to save it by creating the animated film, Alice in Wonderland, which depicted human behavior through animation. Disney slept on the studio floor at night, showered at the train station, and relied on canned beans for meals. Despite all his efforts, he ultimately went bankrupt and returned to a life of poverty. He felt heartbroken and exhausted, burdened by the guilt of letting down his friends, family, and investors who had placed their trust in him. Determined to make amends, he decided to travel to Hollywood and pursue a career as a director. He searched for a job for several months but faced repeated rejection, which dealt a severe blow to his self-confidence. Yet, Disney refused to give up. He picked himself up and once again approached film distributors with his animation, Alice in Wonderland. This time, luck was on his side. New York film distributor Margaret Winkler returned to Disney and offered $1,500 for 6 Alice comedies. The animation was well received, and more orders followed. Shortly thereafter, Disney and his brother Roy founded the Disney Brothers Studio, which eventually became the Walt Disney Company. You are probably familiar with the rest of the story. The Disney Company left an indelible mark on history. Walt Disney's life story is an inspiring example of someone who grew up in less than ideal circumstances, faced numerous failures and adversities, yet achieved extraordinary success.